morning, everyone. So as you can see, my topic today is about plastic consumption and the negative impact that plastic has had and what we can do to better our environment. So why exactly am I talking about this topic? I mean, is it really a concern at AUS, plastic consumption? Well, before the break, we all had our quiz too. You guys remember? Land 1 and 4, we had a quiz too. So I finished my bottle of water and I was heading out of class. And our professor, she actually asked me, she called me and then she's like, recycle that bottle. And I was just like, what? And she's like, that bottle, you should like recycle. You should go there and dispose of it clearly. And at that moment, I had no idea what to say. And I'm just like, I don't know where the closed recycle center is. I think it's actually a sports complex somewhere. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. And I just threw the bottle and I left class. And after a while, the entire incident, it kind of hit me in a way. It was like, I'm a person who's quite involved in community services, and I'm also a board member in the environmental club. But the thought of recycling that bottle, it didn't even come to me. And I noticed that's actually quite normal amongst AUS students because plastic by itself, it's become such a norm in our society that very few of us actually think twice before disposing it or actually think about where it's produced. And this is an example to show that plastic is actually a concern at AUS. So I did some research and I went to the sustainability department and they told me approximately 8,000 small Aquafina bottles, like you can see around in class, are being consumed at AUS daily. And only 300, that little part, are being directly recycled or segregated by students. So my speech is going to consist of 3 main points. The first point being the impact plastic bottles have had on the environment and also on us as individuals. Second point being why plastic is still being used despite all the negative impacts that it has. The third point being the solutions that we as AUS students can implement to decrease this problem. So let's begin by seeing the problem that plastic bottles have had in the environment. So according to an article written in The Guardian by Lucy Siegel, it takes 81 grams of oil and 4 liters of water to produce this one bottle of this empty bottle of water. Now, that bottle by itself, just alone without the water, comes to around approximately 50 grams of carbon dioxide. Now, if you multiply that to the scale at which AUS is using bottles, 8,000 into 50 grams each, by the 50 grams would be enough to fill up like 5 balloons full of carbon dioxide. So you can imagine the scale at which we're consuming plastic bottles. And this doesn't even include the fuel used to transport the bottles to whichever location, such as the US. The trucks and everything that transport the water, they themselves contribute highly to the carbon emissions and other greenhouse emissions. So according to the United Nations Development Report, the UAE currently has a carbon footprint of 33.6 tons of carbon dioxide per capita being per person. Compared to the world average, the world average of 3.7 tons, the UAE is 9 times higher than the world average, which is significant. So, and by the way, for those of you who don't know what a carbon footprint is, according to whatis.com, it's a measure of the environmental impact of a particular individual or an organization measured in units of carbon dioxide. So not only does plastic have an adverse effect on our environment, but it also has an impact on each one of us individually. According to an article written by Rachel Stephens, a writer for journalist resource.org, plastic bottles, they contain BPA. That stands for bisphenol A. Now, bisphenol A is a neurotoxin that basically affects all the endocrine glands in our body. And it affects the nervous system directly, and it's hazardous to human health. So it is strongly linked to problems such as cancer, neurological difficulties, in the case of young girls, early puberty, and it also reduces fertility in men and in women. Now, to decrease the consumption of BPA, you can look for bottles such as these which say BPA free, or you can, even when you're heating food or liquids, In a microwave, you can avoid using a plastic container, use glass or metal, which is safer and reduces the leakage. So, after hearing me talk about the negative impacts that plastic has on us individuals and on our environment, why is it still being used? I mean, everyone uses it, corporations use it, we use it. Why is that? The thing is, corporations use plastic because it's cheap, it's cost effective, and it's very convenient. A group of us, we actually went to Sharjah Cooperative, the mini mart downstairs, and we asked them, can you reduce the number of plastic bags that you're giving out? And they refused because they said that it was a source of brand advertising for them. And they are right, I mean, definitely. It is a way of getting their brand across. But it comes at the cost of the environment. But so what we've decided instead is to offer a proposal where at the cashier we put up a poster asking students to maybe think twice, do you need a plastic bag if you just have maybe 2 or 3 items with you? Like, can you do without a plastic bag? Right? So that's when it comes to plastic bags on campus. In terms of plastic bottles, they are quite convenient. Like, so a lot of us, we go to the gym and it's easier to just put one dirham and pick up a plastic bottle rather than have a container or something, where we keep refilling and making sure it's clean. And it's a lot more effort that goes into it, so it's simply easier. That's why we prefer plastic bottles instead. Plastic, it's cheap, it's convenient, and it's quite functional. However, the benefits, they come at a cost to our environment. Now, there are 2 ways where we can tackle this problem. The first way would be to replace plastic, as in we can use glass bottles, an example of which I'm showing here. Or we can use jute bags. There are many arguments that say that glass bottles, they are breakable, which is true, and some people say that it's heavier. However, many manufacturers of glass bottles, they've added an extra synthetic coat so as to prevent shattering when the bottle falls, and that's a benefit. I mean, it's not as susceptible to breaking, so that's an advantage of using glass bottles. When it comes to plastic bags, the sustainability department, I think Akshay mentioned it in his speech, that the sustainability department was giving out jute bags, and they gave out 200 to 250 jute bags on campus, I think in 1 week, which is great. I mean, and I've personally seen many people on campus using the jute bags when they're going shopping in the girls' mini mart and stuff, or in the normal. So, and there are also benefits when you use, the recyclable materials, such as glass, because it doesn't leach chemicals, unlike plastic. So you don't even have residual taste and odors and stuff. So the contents, they're more, it's better for you, basically. We also have projects on campus organized by BIA and many other organizations. How many of you know what BIA is or have heard of BIA? Okay, pretty good number. For those of you who don't know what BIA is basically an organization in Sharjah that aims at promoting sustainability, and they have a lot of great programs within Sharjah, and they segregate trash, and they have a huge facility. It's a great organization. So I've prepared a small video that my friend has no idea that I'm using to show you how the BIA machine works. How many of you use this machine? No? It's in the student center right next to the ATM. So you can just you don't need to do anything, you don't need to press anything, just go put the bottle there or the plastic can, the aluminum can, and you can just get crushed and recycled. So that is how you can contribute as an AUS student to being more sustainable. And also, under community services, currently I'm trying to work on creating a BIA student representative group. What the objective of this group is to create basically just promote sustainability amongst AUS students, because sustainability by itself, the concept of sustainability, it needs to be a change in attitude of sorts. It can't just be a project, it can't just be a 1 semester worth project. It's bigger than that. An example of this is a while back, I was volunteering for the AUS Mini Marathon. Have you guys heard of the AUS Mini Marathon? So it's age groups are from under 12 to over 60. So there were basically kids, they were just drinking plastic cups of water, and they were just throwing them around on the floor. And they did not care, like the entire floor, the entire in front of the main building was full of plastic cups. And there were volunteers, and we picked up one volunteer started picking up the cups. And then another volunteer joined him. And then a few kids who actually threw the cups, they started picking up the cups. And when other people saw them, everyone started joining in. And within like 10 minutes, the entire area was clean. So that really shows that, it's a change in attitude. It's a change in the entire campus-wide mindset that's required. And that, as we graduate from AUS and, we go into companies, this intrinsic value of being sustainable, of being eco-friendly, not only benefits us, our companies, but also our country as a whole. Thank you.